What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video. Today we're going to be doing something slightly different, and we're going to be doing 5 decks that will never die inside Clash Royale. Coming in at number 5 is the Pekka Bridge Spam deck. Now, the reason I've put this card as number 5 is because it can change a lot. You've got the Ram Rider, which you can see right here, has got the season boost right now, which can be replaced for the Battle Ram. It's just an all-round versatile deck that's probably been around for a couple of years inside the game. Even before like the Magic Character and Ghost was added, it was still a very strong deck. You can add your Musketeer in and other ranged units. It's easily like substituted, and it often changes with the meta. You can see here over on Stats Royale that this deck has had over 75,000 games played in the last 14 days with this deck. So that's like absolutely insane. Its use rate has actually gone up recently. It's now at a 2% use rate, but this deck will be around for a very long time in the game. I am sure of that. Being used high on ladder, it's been used in mid-range ladder. Yes, it's got a lot of legendaries in it, but it's great for challenges, it's great for tournaments. Not that tournaments exist anymore, but that is why this deck is number 5 in this list. Coming in at number 4 is the classic bait deck. Now, this has been around since like the Princess was first released when Clash Royale was less than a year old. It's like perfect for like control archetype, baiting out those cards and like really punishing your opponent when you get the opportunity. It should definitely aim to control the tempo of this match. We don't see much Inferno Tower at the moment. We see a lot of Bomb Tower, but for 5 elixir you could easily swap the Bomb Tower in, especially with all the Royal Hogs and Graveyard and things like that are going around in the meta at the moment. So in the last 14 days this deck has had over 100,000 games played. That is why this deck is on this list, because even when a game is nearly 4 years old, bait is still super prevalent in the meta. It's used high ladder, low ladder. You can see that the only like real level dependent card is like the Princess, but then with a range and stuff like that, she's still really good to use, even if she is slightly underleveled for your King Tower. But as I mentioned before, you need to use this card to bait out and punish the opponent, and that is the playstyle that a lot of opponents like. You can easily defeat Golem with this deck if you don't allow him to build up a huge push. You can defeat the Lava Hound, even like Graveyard. If you play this deck right, obviously you're going to win, and that's why this deck is number 4 in today's list. Coming in at number 3 is this BM deck right here. No, I'm just joking. BM decks are in today's video. It is the 2.9 Expo Cycle deck that's been around, again, as long as I can remember. Like, obviously in beta, Expo used to target air, and then they changed it, which made it stronger because it was easier to lock onto the opponent's tower. There's a Wi-Fi symbol. I've been getting so many Wi-Fi symbols, especially in War. Like, I've stopped playing War for the time being because I just keep losing. But yeah, this deck, you can easily defeat Golems with it. Although you might think Golem hard counters you, playing defensive Expos and playing the offensive Expo as soon as they place their tank means that you're going to break through their defense fairly easy, get that single tower lock that you need, and then you can just play defense for the rest of the game. Now, this is a fairly high skill cap deck. You see it used by pros a lot in like high up on ladder in like tournaments and challenges and things like that. And as you can see, it's had nearly 75,000 games played in the last 2 weeks. Now, a lot of people like myself don't have this leveled up, but it is a great challenge card if you need to get your first like 12th win GC. Learn this deck. It'll improve your all round gameplay, make you a better player, and you'll be able to get your first 12th win once you learn how to master this deck. So that is why this deck is number 3 in today's video. Coming in at number 2 in today's like top 5 decks I'll never die is the classic Golem beatdown deck. Now, Night Witch is stronger than she's been for a long time, and she is like the number 1, the OG support card for the Golem, along with the Lumberjack and the Baby D right behind. You've got the Tornado, which synergizes great with the Baby Dragon. You can also use it to pull in units into the death radius of the Golem for when it explodes. You've got your bar barrel, which goes up and down the meta, but can easily swap it out for log if need be. Now a heavier elixir cost deck to what I've shared in my other like 3 decks today, but lightning is awesome. You can use it to take out infernal towers, which can be a trouble for Golem, especially if you're against a bait deck, which I shared before. You need to be getting value like hitting a tower, hitting some troops and hitting the infernal tower, or if you're against the expo, which I shared before, you'd want to be getting value with your lightning against the Tesla especially, and also the defensive expos. But yeah, one push can easily 3-crown the opponent if you can defend, build up an elixir advantage, and then steamroll your opponent. Sometimes you need to learn to take damage in order to cash in on the elixir advantage, so rather than spending like 3-4 elixir defending, you're going to use that 3 or 4 elixir on offense. But once again, this deck isn't quite as popular, but it still had over 32,000 games played, which is an insane amount of time spent in the Clash Royale community of people trying to master this deck. Now here's some videos of some awesome YouTubers out there sharing this like classic Golem deck, because it's been around for a long time, and you can see the highest trophies was Viper, who used this deck to reach 73,000 trophies, nearly 74,000 trophies. That is absolutely insane. So try this deck out, and that is why this deck is number 2 in today's list. Now coming in at number 1 in today's list, I'm sure you guys have already guessed it because it hasn't been shown yet and it's been around for a long time. One of the highest skill cap decks in the game is the 2.6 Hog Rider deck, which I absolutely love for punishing your opponent. I haven't played it in a long time because I struggled to master it, but it's all about like controlling the tempo of the match, punishing the opponent, defending with your cycle cards, your musketeer, and then counter pushing. You can apply opposite lane pressure as well. Even if you only get 1 hog hit, make sure you get spell value at every opportunity. Fortunately, we haven't actually seen this deck much this season because of the like boosted Ram Rider. Ram Rider actually perfectly counters a hog for 1 elixir more, and she has like the counter push potential, and she could be used to counter balloons. But the highest that anybody has got with this deck was Yerson. 7,400 trophies, and this deck has had nearly like 73,000 games played with this deck. KFC Clash there once again, and Colton Sertag, and is that a Spanish player there? Mal YouTuber playing that deck. So 2.6 has been around since the good old days of Clash Royale, before there was like loads of cards introduced and things like that, and this is why this deck is coming in at number 1 in today's video, because of how OG it is and how strong it still is. Like pro players could like play this deck in like CCGS, and a lot of them could win, and I think that this deck deserves a crown for being one of the like longest and most OG decks in the entire game, that everybody knows when they face it. They can see like 2-3 cards and they're like, I'm against 2.6, and a lot of people will think, oh dear. Even now, after like the game's nearly 4 years old, people still fear against going against this 2.6 Hog Rider deck. So that's why this deck is number 1 in today's video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's list. I can think of some other ones to do, but till next time, please take care of yourselves. Peace.